terrorists are in our religious bodies? Are Nigerians finally going to be earning more than 200k as minimum wage? And is Nnamdi Kanu's life being threatened by the federal government? I cannot believe I'm saying this, but take a look at your mosque and churches because things are going down behind the scene. EFCC chairman Bolanle Olukanni has revealed that money laundering is one of their worst headaches in the organization. We all know who EFCC is. They are the ones that fight Nigerians' financial crimes, at least we hope they do. They are on the hot trail of 13 billion naira fraud, and they have been following the money trail. They stumbled on something very shocking: a religious body's bank account. And this bank account is overflowing with suspicious funds linked to terrorists. Now, I want you guys to all understand what's going on, what money laundering looks like, right? Let me paint a quick illustration. Imagine that you made your money in an honest way and you're keeping this money inside a jar. Now, there's another person who made their money in a not so honest way, and they come to you and decide that they're going to mix their unclean money with yours. By mixing this money, they're trying to make it tricky so that nobody will really know where each money came from. In hiding money with dirty money with clean money, people call it money laundering. Essentially, you're trying to clean money, you're trying to wash money. Do you understand? That's what people say when they say they are washing money, because you're hiding it amongst clean money. Now, EFCC has dug deep and they found out that a religious body is laundering money for terrorists. I want you guys to understand how grave this accusation is. In trying to pursue the suspects and inviting the suspects into custody, you imagine what happened. A dramatic turn of events. The church decided that they're going to actually drag EFCC to court to protect their leader from being invited. Then the court then decided to slap a restraining order on EFCC so that they cannot invite the leader for questioning. They cannot arrest the leader. They cannot prosecute the leader of this religious body that is possibly suspected to be tied to terrorists. I don't understand where. And I don't understand why this court would have given this religious body that much power and why they ruled in their favor. Guys, this money is possibly tied to terrorists. These terrorists are murdering, they are kidnapping, they are killing, I said they are killing twice because that's how serious it is. These same terrorists are the ones that are causing chaos in Nigeria. And for some reason, the court has ruled that this money that is tied to them, the person who has accepted this money on their behalf, cannot be brought into custody. It sounds like there's some dodgy things happening in that court. And the judge that declared that ruling, he needs to be looked into. Because my question is, why would the court rule such a thing? Why is the judiciary choosing to turn a blind eye when such a deep revelation can help us track down these terrorists? An ex-user said on X platform, this is the reason why it's expedient for churches and mosques and NGOs and majority logistic companies to duly register their activities with the Special Control Units Against Money Laundering. And I agree. There's a reason why these agencies are there, because a lot of times religious bodies get away with a lot of things because they don't have any accountability and they are one-man shows. Abroad, when a church is put together, do you know that there's a board of directors? And that board of directors can actually fire the pastor or the reverend because it's not a one-man show. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you guys think that the court should have ruled in favor of the religious body? Do you think religious bodies should be exempt from scrutiny? The Nigerian Labour Congress are demanding for better minimum wage. More than 200k. This is good news. Everyone already is feeling the sting of the crumbling economy. I talked about this yesterday. I said that the economy is crumbling and there's a huge increase in the cost of everything. So it's only expected that technically when that happens, minimum wage actually is supposed to increase in correlation to what's happening in the economy. Do you guys know how much minimum wage is legally what you have to pay people? It's not 100k, it's not 50k, it's 30,000 naira. You're going to sweat tough for 30 to 31 days and you're going to go home with 30k. Okay, let's leave that to the side. We deserve better as Nigerians, and last year, the NLC actually went to Aso Rock to demand for higher minimum wage. They asked for 200k. That was last year in July. President Tinubu responded and said, okay, no problem. Let's do a 37-man wage committee. and let them deliberate and submit their recommendations. Now, 7 months after the president's directive, that anticipated 37-man committee is only now just being inaugurated. However, the NLC has said that the 200k they demanded for last year is not realistic because in July 2023, 200k is a different value versus now, as I'm recording this on February 1st, 2023. We all know that the price of goods have tripled. So if I go to a store today and I wanted to buy egg in 2023, July, I know how much egg in 2023 July was versus now on February 1st, 2024. The price of things have inflated and tripled. Inflation is serious. So my thing has always been that, how are we still on 30k as minimum wage? I know how long it took for them to increase minimum wage from 19k. Because I remember when minimum was 19k. I remember I was doing NYC. And it was 90k for years. Then they increased it to 30k. And now we're still dragging on 30k. Because how long will it take for us to get to 200k? In my opinion, minimum wage with the current economy shouldn't be anything less than 300k. It's really almost impossible to live on anything less than that. Legally, minimum wage is 30,000 naira. They are suggesting and saying that maybe minimum wage should be more than 200k. In your opinion, guys, how much do you think minimum wage should be? Comment down below. How much do you think is fair for someone to be paid every month and be able to survive and live in the economy that we currently have? Ohanaeze Youth Council seems to be very concerned about the life of Nnamdi Kanu. The OYC are calling on the British government that they should intervene in Nnamdi Kanu's case. They seem to have gotten wind of the details of Femi Adesina's book, and I spoke about this in one of last week's episodes on the Scoop. And I mentioned how Femi Adesina had said that some things were going to happen in Aso Rock, and former President Buhari, he was possibly going to have Nnamdi Kanu assassinated. Well, he chose not to and instead decided that he would put him up for trial. So now the OYC are saying no. They don't trust the federal government on this matter. That they have a strong belief that Nnamdi Kanu, who is still on trial, mind you, might be assassinated. And they're asking the British government to intervene. Why the British government? Well, very interestingly enough, Nnamdi Kanu is actually a British citizen. Despite his controversies, allegations of treason and terrorism, they are still saying that, why is the British government not concerned about their own citizen? And I say fair. Because technically, right, if someone is a citizen of your country and they are on trial for crimes in another country, they can petition you as the government, as the person who is responsible for their well-being, to intervene. So they are asking, why has the British government not protected Nnamdi Kanu or IPOB? And they are also agitating that the British government should demand for the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. I think the British government has no interest in this because it's very political at the end of the day, right? When you think about it, the British government, they are not going to want to ruffle Nigeria's feathers because of one person. They won't. The British government has a lot of stake in Nigeria. We might not be colonized by them anymore, but they know the stakes and the investment that they have in this country, and we're part of the Commonwealth. They are not going to go against a country that is part of the Commonwealth because there's an individual who is fighting for separation from the Commonwealth. You have to remember that Nnamdi Kanu is not in support of IPOB being part of Nigeria. And the British government, I can tell you for a fact, they are not in support of Nnamdi Kanu's stance. So they are not going to try and advocate for his release. Also, this whole thing where we keep calling for international bodies to interfere in our local affairs. Guys, at some point, we need to be able to have our own autonomy as a nation. I think the British government has nothing to do with this. They have no interest in this, and they are not going to advocate for any release for Nnamdi Kanu because he does not support any policies or beliefs that they, as the British government, believes in. The British government is not going to get involved. They just are not. But on brighter note, in anticipation of the biggest match coming up, tomorrow Nigeria is going to be playing Angola, and I want to hear your predictions. Do you think we have what it takes to take down the mighty Angolans? And also make sure that you drop your score predictions as well. Don't forget that we will be giving you live commentary, play by play, on the Scooper app, and you can follow along to find out what's happening with the match. So do not forget to follow along right here on the Scooper app. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.